What is socialism? It's one of those terms that can mean very different things to different people. Some left-wingers have a habit of calling everything they like socialism. But some right-wingers have a habit of calling everything they don't like socialism. However, when The Economist magazine dedicates an edition to the rise of millennial socialism, and when the New Statesman magazine runs a story with an identical title, they are not talking about some fluffy romantic sentiment or some vague set of ideals. They are talking about socialism as an actual economic system. And as such, it has a very clear and unambiguous definition. Socialism is an economic system based on collective ownership of the means of production, distribution, and exchange. That was the original meaning of socialism. That was how Karl Marx, Friedrich Engels, and all of their early followers used the term. That is how the dictionary still defines it today. And crucially, that is also how the proponents of today's millennial socialism define it. So at least in the abstract, it's actually pretty clear what socialism means. But what would it mean in practice? The original idea was that people would run the economy democratically. We would all decide, together, collectively, what we want to produce, how much of it, in what way, and who should get what. But then, socialism has been tried many times, and it never turned out that way. It has been tried in the Soviet Union. It has been tried all over Central and Eastern Europe. It has been tried in Maoist China, Vietnam, and in North Korea. It has been tried in Angola, Tanzania, and Mozambique. It has been tried in Cuba, Nicaragua, and Venezuela. And wherever it's been tried, two things stand out. Firstly, socialist economies are always much poorer than their more capitalist counterparts. Compare, for example, North Korea to South Korea. Compare East Germany to West Germany. Maoist China to Taiwan or Hong Kong. Compare Cuba to Puerto Rico. Or compare Venezuela to Chile. You will always find a massive gap in living standards. Secondly, socialism always leads to political repression. In the worst cases, it leads to slave labor camps and mass murder. But even in the least bad cases, it never comes within a million miles of the ideal of a democratically run economy. Why is that? If you ask a socialist, they will invariably tell you, it just hasn't been properly tried. But that's a lazy excuse. It completely ignores how and why socialist countries turned out the way they did. Running economic activity collectively and democratically only works at the level of small groups, such as an Israeli kibbutz. But these kibbutzim never grow beyond a certain size. The biggest ones contain about 1,000 people, and that seems to be the absolute upper limit for the feasibility of democratic socialism. Beyond that, we need to use market mechanisms to coordinate economic activity. Markets enable us to handle colossal amounts of information, to coordinate hugely complex operations that none of us can fully understand, and all without coercion. Once you take that away, the alternative isn't an economic democracy and a brotherhood of men. The only feasible alternative is command and control. It's top-down rule by an elite which has the power to force everyone to comply with their 5-year plans or whatever equivalent they're using. In fairness, that is not what socialists want. But it doesn't matter what they want. The point is that that is what they will get every single time.